Hello everyone and welcome to this week's tutorial. This is going to cover sort of scripting and extensions, and today I'm going to be showing you how to simulate key presses on either Mac or Windows. This is again going to vary whether you're making a script or an extension and what OS you're using as well. So today I'm just going to be going over basically the Windows and Mac methods and how you need to prepare your files in order to be accepted and given the user administrative rights and that sort of thing. Before we get started, I do want to remind you down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly on the channel, and down in the description you can check out my GitHub, follow us there for coding updates, check me out on AE Scripts for awesome plugins I upload, and also Instagram for other live updates. If you're not already a member of the Discord server, you can come and join and get help with scripting, extensions, plugins, UXB plugins, expressions, submit tutorial ideas, and much more. And if you'd like to help support us on YouTube and get cool perks, you can become a member, supporter, premium supporter, or VIP. Link for that is in the description down below. So there are, again, basically two methods you're going to use to simulate key presses on a computer. While there isn't really scripting support or that sort of thing for pressing keys, you can detect keys with the script or extension. If you think about it, giving a developer the rights to press your keys so easily by creating an extension or a script, you could do some serious damage, and most browsers and other things prohibit doing key presses like this. But there are ways around it, and that is basically on Windows to use AutoHotkey, and on Mac to use a bash script or an sh file that runs some Apple script. So firstly, let's go over the Windows side of things. For Windows, I recommend using AutoHotkey or AHK, and this is a free program that you can use to write your own basically scripts that will execute certain commands. You can Google all sorts of different types of commands that you can do or different scripts people have already made. In this case, you can send things like Control C or Control V for copy and paste. You can do things that correspond to menu commands or previously defined shortcuts you have. It sort of depends on what you want to use this for. If this is for your own personal use, the sky's really the limit, and you could set up a bunch of shortcuts to do quicker testing or whatever you'd want. If this is for other people, you want to make sure that the shortcuts that you're going to be using or the key presses you're going to be doing are something that will actually do what you want on the most basic or default setup of your computer. Whether that's going to be from a script or an extension, AutoHotkey should work for both of those on Windows. Basically, what you do is create an AHK file, and you use this tool that comes with it to convert an AHK or an AutoHotkey file. I believe this is Lua format. I'm not 100%. It looks like Lua to me. And you convert that file into an exe by using this application. You select your AutoHotkey file, and then you can choose your destination. You can even use a custom icon file, and that's pretty cool because when you're delivering this, for example, I have this Premiere extension. I just added this nifty little Premiere icon. It can make it look a lot more professional, even though it's just like a script running. So you can choose a custom icon file and also some various compression options, and then convert it. And then in terms of scripting, all you have to do to run that exe file is use a call system command. If you're in After Effects, you have access to, say, call system. Premiere is a bit more limited, but you can still use various other solutions like Node.js to execute files. If you want to know specifically for Premiere on Windows, it's a little bit complicated, but basically use this AutoHotkey file, the exe that comes out of it, and use the Node.js library called child process. Instead of child process, you can run the execute command, which will allow you to execute these exe files. If there are issues running these exe files on other people's computers, you may want to give admin rights of some kind. The way I would approach doing this in particular is using a chmod. If you have access to the terminal, you can go ahead and say chmod, make it executable, and then path to the file. And this will give your exe file sort of full admin rights. There's also other ways to chmod, which basically is just a way of giving different rights, read and write permissions to files for various users. So again, for Windows, use AutoHotkey. If you're in After Effects, Whether you're running a script or an extension, I would use call system, the built-in basically terminal or command running method that you can use. And if you're running this on, again, Premiere, you want to do something different, like use Node.js libraries to execute the files. The Mac side of things is a little bit more complicated because with recent updates, I think since Catalina, they've made it so that no longer can you sort of just run any software on your Mac. Now it has to be to some level approved by the Apple servers or gatekeeper as it's called. And in the past, you could basically trust applications from any developer, whether it was code signed or notarized or not. But nowadays, things have changed a little bit, and you do need to be more careful with how you approach these things. Namely, that you need more permissions now and more basically credibility through Apple's servers in order for the average everyday modern user who's using the most up-to-date OS to have access to this sort of functionality. So let's go over quickly how we do this on Mac. I would say this is the same for whether you're using Premiere or After Effects. You can obviously use the call system with After Effects, which is a way to directly interface with Terminal. That might make running this file a bit easier. But this right here is basically a bash file. We start the file off by denoting it's a bin bash file. This basically references a folder on your Mac that has all the bash functionality. And we're going to run an Apple script. And the way you can run Apple script from within a bash file is by basically saying OS a script or Apple script. And then we have this beginning call. And then at the very end of all the code, we have EOF. So we have EOF with these carets at the beginning and EOF at the end. Any code inside of here is our Apple script code, which, if you're not familiar, Apple script is basically a way to do types of automation, just typing words on your Mac. So in this case, I'm telling my application system events. This is what we can use to control the system events and even execute keys. We're going to delay for just a tiny bit of a second, and then we're going to use the keystroke C using command down. This is the same way as saying we're going to press copy, and then we're going to end our tell. If you're not familiar with AppleScript, that's totally fine. You have to do quite a bit of reading up on it and experimentation to get a hang of it. But once you do, the way you write it is very simple, and you basically just want to embed your AppleScript into here. So if you can find an AppleScript online that does what you want, just embed it inside of this bash file here. In this case, my file doesn't have an extension, it's just called copy. I removed the extension in my Mac, and then similar to what I just had mentioned, I actually used chmod and then made it an executable, and this basically made it so that I could execute this file on the user's computer. Now, a couple notes about this. Number one, if you're going to be running this on the computer, you need to have the user set up their system preferences first. There are a few ways you can check for this, but basically you need to tell the user to, one, in their Mac security and privacy settings, enable the program that you're using to have access to system events. Whether this is Premiere or After Effects, you need to make sure they have checked that box that says system events on it. And then similarly, you also want to make sure under the automation tab in their security settings, they have system events enabled for Premiere or After Effects or whatever app you're using. If they don't, this won't work. So make sure you have those set up inside of their settings before they ever run this. Just make it like a one-time thing. When they first launch your application, have them set up their security preferences, and then you'll be able to copy and paste or run as many of these shortcut commands as you want. And then again, in terms of running it, if you're in After Effects, you can use call system, and then you can call system to run this, or you can call system to chmod this, and then execute it once you have the proper permissions. If you're in Premiere, you'll also want to again use Node.js. I recommend using the child process module library. It has the execute function inside of it, which allows you to basically just execute a file. And of course, make sure you give it chmod privileges beforehand. I know that's a lot of information packed into one video, but this is a very information-packed topic. Just to reiterate everything we've gone over, if you're on Windows, you want to use AutoHotkey. Convert your AutoHotkey files using their application into an exe file. If you're wanting to run this command through After Effects, you can just use call system. That's with a script, of course. You can also do it with an extension. If you're in Premiere, you'll want to use an extension no matter what. Node.js child processes use the executable or execute or exec method. If you're using an extension in After Effects, you might as well just go with that because it's much easier to use than call system. And then if you're on a Mac, again, make sure you use bash file. You can use the sh file extension and then remove it, and then use chmod plus x and then the path of the file to convert that blank file into an executable file. Inside of that file, you basically just want to define that it's a bash file, and then use the sort of bracketed code to say, I want to run some AppleScript code. Paste your AppleScript code in there. Make sure the user has changed their security settings in the automation and other tabs to enable system events to run, and then you'll then be able to run key commands. That's been a super requested thing in our Discord lately. I've seen the question come up like 4 times, I think. So I thought I'd finally make a video addressing it. And now hopefully people realize why it's a little bit more complicated and nuanced, because different programs offer different functionality, and different types of products, whether it's a script or an extension, have different requirements in terms of how you can execute files. And then furthermore, different OSs have different levels of security preferences which you have to accommodate for. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. Down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly in the channel. And down in the description, you can follow me on GitHub for coding updates. AE Scripts, check out some of the stuff I've uploaded there to help support. And in the description, follow on Instagram as well for other live updates. If you're not a member of the Discord server, you can come and join and get help with scripting, extensions, After Effects and Premiere plugins, UXP plugins, expressions, and so much more. And if you'd like to help support us on YouTube, you can become a member, supporter, premium supporter, or VIP, get cool perks, and the link for that is in the description down below. Thanks again for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.